Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here. I am feeling really excited and vulnerable to come on and just share about where I've been at, where my mind feels like it's going, and just have the opportunity to speak in a format that allows you, whenever you feel ready and called, to listen and tune in and catch up on what's going on with me if that's something that interests you. I'm guilty of creating stories when I feel inspired and just talking and talking and talking. And I love that, but for some reason my Instagram doesn't let me use captions, and I know that's not helpful if someone can't listen to the audio. So my message isn't reaching people, and I am also not making it available for when somebody does have the time and space to watch. So here I am, training myself to start recording and making IGTVs. So anyways, I'm gonna get into things here, and what I'm coming on to share is going to be very natural and guided from my heart. I'm sure I'll end up having some insights and learnings to share, or that I've realized over the last while, but my initial intention is to come on and just really express what I've been going through and what I've been navigating. Many of you may know if you've been following me, and even if you haven't, I have taken a bit of a step back, and I've been pivoting a little bit in how I'm approaching myself online. Like, how am I approaching my business development, my offerings, my visions, and even honestly, my beliefs and my values have all been kind of like shattered open. And I've been coming in and out of these, crises for a while. And the last month, I'm definitely finally feeling better. I've been feeling more like myself. But after I graduated DCI, which was incredible, it was a 6-month coaching program, incorporating lots of methodologies and things that I really value and believe in, like spirituality, human design, mindfulness, the power of, healing and integrating and incorporating all of these, metaphysical elements as well as coaching fundamentals and creating frameworks and doing things that's more methodological. Oh my god, I'm blanking on that word right now. It's okay, I'm gonna laugh at myself. Anyways, I really, over the last few years of my healing journey, of my self-education, my reading, tons of courses and programs I've done, and just my life's experience this last while, I was really consuming and observing and absorbing so much information. And it's interesting because a few years ago, when I decided I wanted to pursue coaching or mentorship or guidance of some kind to help support people, because it very much comes naturally for me. It very much is something I love to do. I love to help people. I like to be somebody where a person can sit and feel safe and open up, because that is just what's always happened. And that was really appealing to me before this coaching thing blew up. And now, I don't know what's happening, but there's nothing wrong with more people wanting to step out and serve and more people wanting to help, because what's happened this last few years is more people have awoken to the fact that they have things they need support with. They've been illuminated in their mind as to, whoa, there's so many directions and places and opportunities. What do I do with all of this, right? So of course it makes sense that coaches, guides, mentors, healers are going to be kind of called to that forefront to be able to help. What's kind of happened for me this last 6 months is I thought it was really clear, despite how also unclear I was on like my niche and the direction and like who I'm speaking to and all these things. I was very clear on knowing like, okay, this is a path I want to take. This is a avenue I want to step into so I can help people, so I can be a support for somebody, so I can help guide somebody back to themselves, to their truth, to their essence, to their own inner wisdom. But I felt like I graduated, I had my certificate, and I was like, cool, now what? I've been developing my business and thinking about programs and all these different ways that I could start putting myself out there. A few things happened. I burnt out. I felt overwhelmed with thinking that I needed to be in this box. I felt that I just felt I became very limited in my expression. Even though I was still showing up authentically as myself, even though I was still showing up from my heart, even though I was still offering things that have value and that I still want to hold in my own space with others. However, I now see a little bit that I was doing it with this guideline based off everything I've been taught, based off all these programs and layers that need to be added in order for it to reach these certain people, and in order for it to mean that I'm going to be valued, in order for it to mean that I'm worthy, or that I'm able to make money, or all these elements. And I kind of just crashed all of these other stories and issues that I was having as well. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you do know me, I have been deep on the healing journey for about 5 years. I wouldn't even say it's my spiritual awakening. I think it was just my soul awakening to myself, to opening my eyes to the depth of traumas that I've experienced and how it's affected me and my life. You know, PTSD and all these other issues I've had from depression, anxiety, stress, survival mode for my entire life up until now. And even now, my nervous system is still healing. So that's what I've been navigating as well. And I think after I graduated, I was like, okay, I've got to go. I've got to make money. And I've got to start serving people because I have so much value and people need my help. And I've just got to like show up for everybody right now and get out there. And I want to help everybody now. But that wasn't possible for me at that time because my nervous system was completely out of whack, as it has always been. It just was showing up in this way when I was trying to move forward finally, when I was trying to show up, and when I was inviting opportunity and, you know, finances and expansion. So the last year, but especially the last 6 months, I've struggled deeply with sleep. Many nights not sleeping, or feeling restless, or feeling like my body's shaking, or feeling like my heart is palpitating, which then caused me to have a lowered immune system. So then my immune system was low, and I was navigating all these lung issues and seeing doctors and getting x-rays and not really getting answers, and getting prescribed medications that I researched and weren't even relevant to what I was experiencing, which also would have had detrimental effects. One of them being like an antipsychotic drug. And I was like, I'm not putting myself on that, knowing that what's going on has nothing to do with that. So anyways, that's not relevant. What's relevant is the fact that I've been juggling all these things, feeling so desperate and so eager to want to show up and start doing something that feels purposeful, start making an impact in people's lives, start feeling like all of this work I've done on myself, all of these ways I've taught myself, and seeing how far I've come despite my life circumstances, while also navigating other things that were really detrimental to my well-being and my mental health. I was ready to really see all of that come into fruition, into something that was finally going to be able to support me, and something that was finally going to let me be able to live a good quality of life, you know. And many of you follow me, and many of you know me, many of you have known me for a long time, but maybe we don't talk all the time. But we are all watching Instagram. Here we are. We're all watching people who are living here and doing that and showing this picture of this element of their life and showing this and that and that. And we think that they have it great. We think that they're thriving and they're fucking happy and they're in paradise while we're working and living the grind and doing the 9 to 5. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter where you go, who you are, what your job is. We all have struggles, and we are all living a life beyond this screen. And doesn't mean we don't have to be grateful. It doesn't mean I'm not infinitely grateful for where I'm at, for the journey I've been on, for the beautiful places I've traveled and lived. But when you're not living a good quality of life, when you don't have the means to sustain yourself, when you are struggling mentally, emotionally, and physically and spiritually, and when you don't have a support system, it's difficult. And so this is the first time where I have a support system as my partner right now. And you know, my friends who are far, of course, I deeply love them, and I'm so grateful for where they've been able to support me, whether it's emotionally or, you know, being a soundboard. But when you've been someone who's been in survival mode all those years, when you've been someone who's struggled with the layers of the shadows that come up, with the layers of the trauma that come up with each level of expansion, it's hard to surrender and let go into that safety. And so that's what I've been working through. Now, I mentioned as well that I've been exploring my beliefs and my values. And it's very interesting because right now, this last while, and this last, I guess I'd say a couple of years, this awakening has been happening to metaphysical subjects, energy, spirituality, healing, crystals, manifestation, all of these things, which all have so much value and a place, and can really make a positive impact in people's lives. But what I'm seeing is an exploitation of that, because there's not a depth and understanding, and there's people wanting to escape into these methodologies and these topics to get from point A to point Z, right? Instead of understanding the value of how they can really support you and why, and what we need to do as individuals to really move forward in our lives, to feel good, to feel confident, to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel a sense of self-esteem and self-worth, and also just a sense of being enough in our bodies, being enough in this world, being enough in our job, in our families, in our relationships. I can go on. And so that plus coaching, healing, all these things blowing up, which are incredible. Some people are like, oh, there's so many coaches, I don't want to be that. Or, oh, why are there so many coaches? Why are there so many healers? Hello, it's because people need it. And it's fucking awesome that more people are stepping up into their power and helping people. But what's not okay is taking advantage of people. What's not okay is regurgitating information and not understanding why you're saying what you're saying, and not understanding why and how it could affect a person. You know, having experienced many different types of trauma, and having still been clearly haven't spoke on video in a while, having overcome various traumas, it's a sensitive topic for me, because when I see a sense of blaming happening to a person who, it might not just be so simple to write it down and think it better. It might not be so simple to just invest in yourself and spend all this money on yourself. Yes, there's blocks in limiting beliefs and money mindset and working through it myself. But there's also developmental trauma. There's stories. There's life upbringing. There's personal desires and needs. There's lack of survival needs. There's systems and structures in place that do not support people to level up in that way, to just make it happen and quantum leap. Not saying that doesn't happen. Not saying that's not true. I'm not eliminating any of these as having truth. What I'm bringing to the forefront, and what my goal and vision, and now we'll move into this, is to empower people and educate people to understand how they can really move through their shit, to understand what's in my scope, to help people understand what it feels like to lean in for support, for the right support, to know when to connect with a therapist or a somatic healer or a counselor or a coach, or having a little bit of, your hand in all of those spaces, right? And for a person to think that they can just help somebody with something without understanding the deep layers, and I'm not even speaking as if I understand it all. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from what I'm seeing, and I'm speaking from what I'm feeling in integrity with myself. And there's a lot that is not feeling good right now for me, which is why I've taken a step back. I'm pivoting, I'm reassessing. Okay, a lot of this is not new to me. I grew up with spirituality, metaphysics, witchy shit. I grew up in a very turbulent household, but I also grew up with a very spiritually grounded life. And so when I see all this stuff kind of happening now, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of ungrounded energy here. And what we need to do is be empowering ourselves and each other to get curious about what feels good. Is this person charismatic who we're talking to, or are they actually speaking some truth to us? Or maybe they're speaking truth for that person over there, but it's not for you. We need to take a moment and pause and not be so reactive to saying yes to all these things and yes to that person because they have 100,000 followers or whatever. I'm feeling very passionate right now. So anyways, these are just like ways my mind has been working, and I could keep going, but I really want to come to a bit more of a focus as to why I'm even making this video. I mentioned what I've been navigating, a shift in my beliefs and my values, a look at my integrity and what doesn't feel and does feel integral to me now, what feels true and what doesn't feel true, and what I'm seeing is actually really needed in this world if we're going to be helping people. And my vision. My vision now is kind of expanding. You know, I have many skills. I am certified in Reiki, breathwork, yoga, coaching, soul purpose and spiritual life coaching. But none of that means anything. What means something is, where is my soul in that? Where is my energy in that? And where is my heart? Am I following what's within my scope? Am I following what feels true to me? Am I listening to my intuition and my fucking gifts? And I'm not just saying it like, oh, I'm a channel, I'm an intuitive person and I can see things that you can't. No, but what I am saying is also yes, right? But I'm not preaching it out there like that because it's for me. That's my internal guide and process. And that's what allows me to reach others. That's what allows me to receive this download that I'm having right now as I speak. I didn't have a plan. I set up my camera. I knew that I had all of this inside of me I needed to get out, because I've been feeling like, oh, I just don't feel like talking on my Instagram, but I also don't feel like I'm being expressed as myself fully. And I discover a lot through soundboarding. So continuing on with my vision, I want to incorporate all of my skills, not only all of those in wellness and self-development and supporting others and myself. I also want to incorporate creativity, you know, copywriting, design, graphics, my art. I cannot wait to do an art course. I have this one in mind. It's a year-long program and I get to do it at home, and I'm just like aching for that. But I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be in this box. I don't want to be in this niche. I think my niche is the people that are hearing me right now, the women who have come to me, and men who value my insight and my wisdom and my deep truth. Not that I'm quoting this thing that I learned in my course, and not that thing I'm pulling that everybody's just trending now. That's a quote and nobody's even fucking writing who the quote came from. Sorry, I hate that. Actually, I don't like the word hate, but I'm also not judging those people. What I am saying is that for me personally to feel authentically expressed and to reach the people that I need to reach, whether it's a friend right now who's listening to this because they love me and support me, or it's a person who actually has been waiting for me to offer something because they need support and guidance. I want people to feel safe to come to me, not because I did all these certifications and I'm here to be this, create this like identity around this thing that I am. No. I am just ready to come out of this cage like a fucking tiger at the zoo. Pardon my French, but I'm ready to just come out of this cage and stop feeling stuck and limited and getting in my head about what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, and like, how do I do this? It's fucking me up, and I think it's because I'm not speaking this truth right now. And I know more than anybody, not more than anybody, but I definitely know how hard it is to go through the shadows, to go through the darkness and the pain, to be struggling and swimming in what feels like mud and drowning in your own sorrow and grief and confusion and emptiness and shame. But I also know what it feels like to be fucking lit up by life and to be stoked and to feel connected and loved and held, even though when I'm feeling those other ways, those emotions are gone. It's like I forget that there's this light. So, if any of you did watch my story the other day or week, time, what is it? I'm wanting to open up a space where women can come together and just be together. You know, when I finished DCI, I was like, okay, I'm going to come up with this program and it's going to be very specific. And I think at some point I probably will do that. But what I'm feeling into and what my girlfriend Paulina inspired me by was that there's actually just a need for a space for women to connect and to be held in a container where I get to offer my services, you know, my intuition, breath work, all the wisdom and tools and resources and literal experience I have, exercises and movement and whatever comes through in that space. But mostly what I had a big breakdown about last month, because I haven't had friends to spend time with for almost a year. I had a couple friends here and there that have bopped in and out, but like I actually haven't had anybody to hang out with, any sisters, any women to like feel vulnerable with or feel sexy with or feel weird or silly or whatever comes out, or to just feel held. And when you are in a container, and I have been in some, I've been in a year-long women's group for a mastermind. That was more business focused, but what I'm thinking of here is something that's, you know, a couple weeks or months where over time you're building trust with each other, you're building the vulnerability, you're building power and encouragement for yourself and each other. You're able to show up exactly as you are. There's not all this like work you need to do or way you have to be expressed or anything other than what you are in that moment to show up as, with guidance and support and group coaching from me, with individual mentorship and guidance as well, if that is something you want. And I just feel really passionate about that. And I was wondering, like, why are none of these other containers that I'm creating like really landing? And it's because I was creating them based off these formats that I've been taught. But I am not meant to walk this path that everybody's walking or everybody thinks you need to be walking. I do take what resonates. I do take the things that have value and meaning, because there are gems in all of that. But like what I would love to also invite people to do is realize you don't have to do it in that way. This isn't cookie cutter. We're coming into a new paradigm of living, a new way of being, and it is not one way, which is why I think so many people, and myself included, are really confused, because we're trying to find the path that has never been walked for each of our own individual lives. And how can you find a path that's never been walked? You have to just begin walking that path yourself. And trust that if you get astray, you will be guided back where you need to be. Let's take a grounding breath. If you want to close your eyes for a minute, or not, whatever feels good for you. And just sigh it out. One more. So it feels really good to be saying all of this. I feel there's more, and I think that my intention here, and I'm going to vocalize it now because I want to set that accountability for myself, is to just maybe speak more. Like I used to. 2020, I started talking like every day. I was doing IGTVs and lives and sharing so much vocal content, and my partner reminded me that my voice is my message, my energy, my presence, and I think that's true. When I begin speaking, it's like there's this energy that's happening, and I don't have to think, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to waste my energy and time staring at my fucking screen. I don't want to anymore. I will, because I like it sometimes. But I think that my area of growth right now is to be consistent with this, and I'm going to let whatever else needs to come through when it's supposed to come. So yeah, I would love to hear just how any of that resonated. I would love to hear if you're looking for more information about this women's group when I do start it. It's not going to be too expensive at all. I want it to be accessible and inclusive. And I want it to be a space where we can really just show up and grow together and support each other. And yeah, a space where I just get to show up as myself. I've been supporting many, many, many people over the years with their groups, and I've learned a lot, but I've also felt this feeling inside of like my soul being, Alicia, what are you doing? Yes, this, and where's your group? When do you get to lead as yourself, with your language, with your branding, with your essence and being? And I'm ready for that. Yeah. And if maybe you're someone who needs copywriting services, or maybe you're someone who just wants to chat. I want to chat. Like, let's connect, And if you've been struggling at all, like many have this last while, you're not alone. I'm ebbing and flowing through it constantly. And this last month has been my most successful month in a year and a half, where I'm okay. I'm sleeping. my appetite's coming back. I'm not completely lethargic every single day feeling depressed, and I'm excited for life and I'm going outside. Those are small things to some people, but I know to so many people, it's the hardest thing to do. So keep going. Know you're not alone. Know there's support for you, whether it's a conversation on Instagram or a call or just this message reaching your heart, making you feel held. That's what I'm here for. And thank you for listening to my rant and letting me share where I've been at. It means so much to me to really just be authentic and to be able to just show up as like Alicia again. So thank you. I love you all so much, and I hope you have the most beautiful week ahead, and I send you so much blessings and love. Mwah.